welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of September 13th. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Nicole Eridix.
Hi there.
We're moms of teens and young adults, but when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes, worrying about something or other. Wednesday is complaint day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we're complaining about kids' toys. The ones that we feel relieved to have missed out on, like slime, and the ones we did get stuck dealing with, like in my case, moon sand. Do you guys remember this stuff?
I'm not sure I do.
No.
Refresh our memory or horrify us with the details.
Yeah, it's just this like colored sand that had some kind of, I don't know if it was like a little bit magnetic or it had some properties that made kids want to play with it.
I do vaguely remember that.
And it was, you could, put it in molds and things, and it just would get everywhere, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's sand, and then it's so heavy, and they would want to like bring it outside, or which was great, bringing it outside because then you don't have the sand in the house.
Yeah.
But it was like a production to bring it outside, or they would want to travel with it. Like, this stuff is so heavy, we can't do that. So it just got me thinking about like how for every generation of kids there's these annoying things. Like for kids right now, it's slime, which just, again, looks like a mess to me. And I don't know what you do with it. Like, they like to mix it up and then they just like squish it around or something. I don't even know what the appeal is.
The appeal is that your mother doesn't like it, probably.
Yeah. So
it just looks messy.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's always the, loud, annoying sound that many toys make. So I don't know. What have you dealt with in the past that you're glad to have said goodbye to?
Lego. I mean,
yeah.
Legos.
Oh gosh, we had so much Lego lying around and
just waiting for you to step on it.
Yeah.
I think they crawl out into the middle of open areas.
They really do. They lie in wait. Definitely Lego is something I was happy to say goodbye to. In fact, I probably started packing it up the minute I got it. It's like, okay, you saw it, you built it, we're done. It's going away.
We're going to spray this thing that you built with shellac so it will never come apart. And
exactly.
Just put it on display. Good on you. You made it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So happy to say goodbye to that. And all the toy cars that my son had. Those were, you know what it is? I think I was just, after a while, I just got annoyed by everything. Like, they're really...
They didn't have to have any inherently annoying qualities. They just...
No, it was just all annoying. Like, Littlest Pet Shop stuff from my daughter.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah. And what else? My son's, all of his kind of action figures and like just everything. 'Cause
Nicole is the enemy of joy.
Yeah.
I was the mom that just was like, okay, you played with it once, we're putting it away.
Here's a block of wood. Go to town.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't like, I mean, there were certainly times when we just left the toys out and the kids just played and we didn't bother picking them up. But for the most part, it was like, okay, I've had enough of seeing this mess.
Yes.
Like, let's just clean it up for,
Right.
Nobody touch anything for 5 days.
You wanted to nurture their creativity by forcing them to make their own fun without commercial devices designed to
Go
sell
read one book in your room and see. No, I wasn't that bad. I just got annoyed. Nah, they had their toys out, but
yeah,
I was happy to say goodbye to them.
Yeah, all those little, like the pet shop and the things that had teeny tiny little pieces like Polly Pockets and stuff that, you just can't believe how small they are.
I know. And you know what, like really actually just thought too, stickers. Like why did we give stickers to kids in cars? Because they went everywhere. Like why? Like I know that it gave us an extra 2 or 3 minutes of downtime. But after that, it took us, 10 times as long to get the stickers off, whatever they put them on.
Whatever they stuck them on.
Those sticker books. I was happy to say goodbye to that. What about you, Terry?
I feel like my kids weren't really that into toys. I mean, in their very earliest years at the orphanage, they really didn't have toys. There was a cabinet with toys in it, and I came to realize that they only took those out when people came to visit the orphanage. I don't think they came out when the kids were there by themselves. So I think they lost that very early childhood habit of having to be constantly entertained. I mean, they did watch a lot of TV and stuff, but I feel like their early childhood was mostly a series of me going, look at this cool toy, look at this cool toy, don't you want to play with this cool toy? And they're like, how about this cool toy? I mean, I think I played with the Legos more than they did. And, figurines, they would my daughter would go through the motions of the Barbies, but her heart really wasn't in it. I mean, to please me. So it's like they're never, my son absolutely was into the little cars. That was one toy that was a huge, huge thing for us. He still has them in a trunk in his room. He won't get rid of them. I won't let him get rid of them, honestly, because I feel very attached to them. And it was so great because anytime we were anywhere and I wanted to give him a little reward, I could buy him a 99-cent car. It was awesome. We would go to Toys R Us. I would sit for an hour while he looked at every single car in the spinner racks and picked the one he wanted. And then I would go, and it was like, 99 cents for an hour's worth of entertainment. I would sit like on a shelf somewhere and read a book while he was doing it. It was so great. So that's a toy I loved. And yes, they do get underfoot, but he had a rug with a track on it and he would put them on there. But he also, would put them in as kids with developmental disabilities often do. He would line them up in circles around furniture and stuff like that. But I was just so delighted to see him play with anything. That's fine. The one really messy thing I can remember, and this wasn't the kids' fault. It wasn't something that they wanted to do. It was something that I wanted them to do, which is like a rice bin as a therapeutic
like a
tool.
sensory thing.
And it is indeed a very powerful sensory thing. And my son would love putting his hands into it and playing with it. But holy cow, does rice get absolutely everywhere. I would try to put it in the biggest possible container. How small an amount of rice can I put in how big a container so it doesn't get everywhere? Right. And it doesn't matter. It still gets everywhere. It sticks to them and then it goes, you're just finding rice all over the place. So that was, I maybe was not as zealous with that particular very effective therapeutic tool as I should have been because, oh my goodness, the mess. And that was just, that wasn't any fancy commercial product. That was just therapists saying, do this and getting a big thing of rice from the store and then regretting it deeply.
Then you have it for the time when somebody dunks their phone in water.
That's true. It would have been useful for that. But it worked. It was effective, but it's like the toy that the kid really loves that you can't stand, that you just suddenly breaks or loses its batteries. Like the toy we had that was an ice cream truck and the guy would go, ice cream, every 5 seconds, like a bad hold thing on a phone.
Right.
Oh, and it just somehow accidentally the battery door broke, so you could never put batteries in it again. Darn! How sad.
That's creative. It's not just like, it doesn't work anymore. You really committed to that.
I mean, you could take the batteries out, but then they could ask for more batteries, and
right.
So if you actually break it so that the batteries don't go in. I don't know what happened to those metal coils. They were there, and now they're not. You can still push it. It still goes.
Yeah.
Just the guy
Still
is
has
mute.
wheels.
Oh, dear. Our poor kids.
That's funny.
I was happy to say goodbye to the kid music. Because as you
Kids
know,
Bop?
I'm not a big fan of
just flat out children's music.
Of alternate types of music.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just happy to like say goodbye to that stuff. But yeah, I was happy to say goodbye to to finally be able to play the radio or play my own music.
Right. Yeah, I guess. We listened to a lot of Sesame Street CDs. And again, I was just so desperate to have my kids be interested in anything. Right. How about this? How about this? I don't think we ever did the Wiggles, but we definitely did lots of Sesame Street CDs, which, again, I was probably more excited about than they were. But
yeah, we had some. I didn't really mind most of the music we had. It just sometimes it was the repetition, like
yes, well, that's
the Lion King, the Lion King cast album that we listened to every single night for years. I think that got old after a while.
Yeah, repetition is powerful for kids.
Yes, that was the bedtime music every single night. But we got to skip the hyenas.
Because they're scary.
Not to listen to them. They're scary.
Yeah, you don't want that before bedtime.
No, exactly.
Well, and I was very happy to say goodbye to my son's stick bugs, the real ones, when he had those. That was...
He's a whole other cat, whole other episode, unfortunate pets,
category. I think. Definitely not a toy, but something I was happy to say goodbye to from his childhood.
Yeah, definitely. I.e.
But it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of like, when I think about it, like when I just briefly think about it, I think, I think about it with fondness and whatnot. And then I just kind of remember the reality of it. This is so much work.
Will you be buying those toys for your grandchildren, Nicole? To say to your children,
Of course. But I think what I'll do is I'll buy them and then buy them with a container to store them in.
And put on that container a label that says, do not bring this to grandma's house.
Exactly.
For home use only.
I feel like that was the other part of the hassle, is finding a place to just store it, true. Right? Like, like somewhere where maybe I'm just too anal with that stuff. I don't know. I should have been maybe more relaxed with it. I
am a big fan of getting those large bins with lids that you can get like at Target or someplace, and then just throw everything in there. At the end of the day, the kids throw everything in there. It doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be stacked. Stuff doesn't have to be together. It's just off the floor. Put the lid on it, shove it someplace, and then, they can deal with it the next day.
That's exactly what we did. So. Yeah, I even did that with puzzles towards the end. I ditched the box, I threw the puzzle pieces in, and then I cut out the lid of the box. Yeah. So that they had
that's a good idea.
And I put it in a Ziploc bag.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That takes up a lot less room.
Yeah.
Well, and then the boxes aren't falling apart and you're not missing pieces and whatever. But because I had a son who liked to redo puzzles over and over again. Yeah. So the boxes were constantly falling apart. But
that's actually a useful tip on the Parenting Roundabout podcast. Oh my goodness.
Little tip for the day.
Let's better quit now while we're ahead.
I know. Yeah. Get us out of here, Nicole, before we're ahead.
Alrighty. Well, that was fun to think about. And then, of course, also fun to realize that we are done with those days. And that is it for today's round 3. Tune in tomorrow and we'll obsess about kids' lack of sympathy. And then on Friday, to see what we've come up with for our Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page or on Twitter, where you will find us at Roundabout Chat.